Hey everyone, I'm Amanda and you're watching MovieBox only on CIB24.com. Today we're taking a look at what's in theaters and what's new on Blu-ray this Valentine's Day weekend. Our first release comes a couple of days earlier than the rest. The remake, reboot, re-imaging of ROBOCOP hits theaters on Wednesday, February 12th. The original cult franchise was known for its ultra-bloody violence and satirical dark sense of humor. 2 sequels and a 4-part miniseries on TV followed shortly after. The movie tells the story of Detroit police officer Alex Murphy. He's gunned down, set on fire, and left for dead. Luckily for him, national security is developing a new technology that can breed man with machine, saving his life and essentially turning him into ROBOCOP. The remake appears to be taking a darker tone and removing most of the camp that defined the original so well. Despite being darker, the movie is rated PG-13 in the States, which means this installment may lose some of the edge. Nevertheless, if you enjoyed other man-machine movies like Pacific Rim, Real Steel, and of course the Iron Man franchise, you're bound to dig ROBOCOP 2014. Let's take a look.
Somehow, he's overriding the system's priorities.
The human element will always be present. Compassion, fear, instinct, they will always interfere with the system.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
A romantic drama is almost essential for Valentine's Day, and coming out on February 14th, we have Endless Love, starring Alex Pettyfer and Gabrielle Wilde. It's your classic, traditional, good girl falls for the bad boy love story, where they can't be together due to his past and her strict family, despite an unshakable love for one another. Endless Love is also a remake of a 1981 movie and is from the director of The Greatest and Country Strong, so you know it'll be a tearjerker. Let's take a look.
You strike me as a guy who does have a few secrets. Tell me I'm wrong.
That was a long time ago.
Tell me to stay.
You had a whole life before her. You think he's calling the cops?
He's been digging into his past.
David's not a criminal.
Why would you keep that a secret?
I warned you.
If schmaltzy romantic melodrama isn't your idea of a date night, you can also check out About Last Night, also opening on Valentine's Day. Like Endless Love, About Last Night is also a remake of an 80s film. This version stars Kevin Hart, Regina Hall Joy Bryant, and Michael Ehle. Kevin Hart has had quite the year. His last movie, Ride Along, which opened only a few weeks ago, has since become the highest grossing film of 2014. And with the highly anticipated sequel to the blockbuster Think Like a Man coming out in a few months, this very well could be the year of Kevin Hart. Who knew, in terms of box office gold, Kevin Hart would be this year's Channing Tatum? About Last Night is a modern re-imaging of the classic romantic comedy. This contemporary version closely follows new love for 2 couples as they journey from the bar to the bedroom and are eventually put to the test in the real world. We'll be the judge of that. About Last Night comes out on Valentine's Day, but for now, let's take a look.
God, I love you.
I love you too.
No. Who said I love you first?
She did.
Women approach that phrase with a tactical strategy normally reserved for an anti-terrorist strike team. This was no accident. That was an ambush. This was definitely
a disaster. Is it that bad to be the first one to say it?
Yes, it is.
Whoever says I love you first
cares more.
let's just disappear. Join witness protection because you're screwed. Oh, I'll get it.
You got it, baby?
Start.
Girl, you look good.
Food looks really good.
Hey, girl, listen to me. The food is vile. Do not swallow the food. You wait till she's not looking, spit it in the bag, get low. Do it fast, because the food will eat through the bag, she'll smell it. You and your own. I try to tell you.
Out on Blu-ray this week, we have a few titles you might want to check out. You might want to pick up The Best Man Holiday on Blu-ray this weekend. The romantic ensemble is the sequel to the 1998 sleeper hit The Best Man. It follows the same group of friends we met 15 years earlier. Back then, they were young, getting married, fooling around, cheating on one another, and this movie proves, even if you do get older, do you really get wiser? Here's a look.
This is on YouTube. Oh, damn.
Your wife is a freak.
Hey, hey.
Hey, can I use your phone? I can't get a signal in here.
All Is Lost stars Robert Redford against the Great Sea. Seriously, it's him on a boat for 2 hours fighting rogue waves and torrential storms. No, but really, it's actually worth checking out for the incredible Golden Globe winning score by Alex Ebert and the jaw-dropping performances by Redford. It's a truly visceral experience, so make sure you watch it on a decent TV with great sound. Last on our Blu-ray watch list is Ender's Game. It's one of the many young adult fiction adaptations of 2013, but thankfully much better than Beautiful Creatures, The Mortal Instruments, and The Host. The movie stars Asa Butterfield, Viola Davis, Ben Kingsley, and Harrison Ford. Set in the far future where alien wars are fought like video games, young Ender Wiggin must lead a crew of teenagers to the big battle. It's time for our box office predictions. Traditionally, Valentine's Day weekend is when 3 genres are released for date night pickings. There's usually one for the guys, in this case RoboCop, and one for the girls, Endless Love. And one for the kids, the Lego Movie, will be in the second weekend. In 2012, the Denzel Washington-Ryan Reynolds action epic, Safe House, was pitted against the Rachel McAdams Channing Tatum romantic dramedy, The Vow. Both movies broke records, opening over $40 million each. Last year, Die Hard 5 faced off against the Nicholas Sparks adaptation, Safe Haven, to smaller but similarly divided numbers. What will it be this weekend? I predict the Lego Movie will take the #1 spot 2 weekends in a row. Word of mouth has been excellent and it opened big last weekend. Endless Love may attract teen girls and single ladies, but as a date night movie for couples, it just doesn't have mass appeal. Plus, the trailers have been irritatingly vague and the plot seems thin enough that it may leave some waiting for video. I see this falling into the 3rd spot for the weekend. RoboCop has a PG-13 rating instead of the original hard R rating, so it'll more than likely attract young men just as much as it will older men. It's a hard one to peg considering the trailers were met with lukewarm reactions and the advertisements for it have been considerably limited. It will be #2 its opening weekend. The odds of outrunning Nicholas Sparks this Valentine's Day are not in your favor. Chances are you'll be watching one of his movies with your date. If you have a choice within his filmography, I recommend these. The Notebook, arguably his best. The Notebook may be melodramatic and highly unrealistic, but it's beautifully shot and wonderfully acted. It may be a cliche to watch Notebook on Valentine's Day, but then again, the holiday itself is a cliche. 4 happy, tearful Amandas. Safe Haven is a safe bet. It's about a young woman who runs away from her husband after committing a violent crime. She arrives in the picturesque town of Southport and sets up shop in a cute little cabin and falls for the widower, who runs a general store. This movie is a definition of Nicholas Sparks, I kid you not. The twist ending will either leave you touched or have you screaming what the F at the screen. 2 happy Amandas and a 1.5 meh does. A Walk to Remember. A good girl and a bad boy fall in love despite social differences and peer pressure. Wait, what? Isn't this Endless Love? No, not this one. 2002's A Walk to Remember will most likely have you tearing up. It deals with sickness, depression, and faith. Sporting a squeaky clean PG rating, this movie is appropriate for all ages. 3 happy Amandas. If you're anti-Valentines, I strongly recommend you check out 2009's My Bloody Valentine 3D. It's the perfect movie for your 3D TV. It's about a vengeful killer who slashes his way through a mining town on Valentine's Day. Gruesome kills include heart-stealing, heart-smashing, and heartbreaking. I also recommend you check out the indie slasher film Broken Hearts, which is shot right here in Toronto. That's it for MovieBox Valentine's Day edition, here on CIB24.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for weekly videos. Tweet us your Valentine's Day pics. I could use a few titles, I've seen them all. We'll see you at the movies.